Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. This is our off-air podcast that we do 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Also, we have our Sunday Sessions podcast that you can listen to. I did mine last week with my husband, Abe.
Still haven't gotten to listen to that one yet.
Yeah, take some time. Kelbin, you're up this Sunday.
I thought we were going to go back to the regular rotation. I was only in for Holly to give her time that first week.
Oh!
Have y'all talked about this?
No,
I don't know.
We have not talked about that.
I didn't know that I was going to do one. Girl, technically I came halfway through the week. So.
Oh, shit. All right, listen. I can pull something together if you need to.
Wait, so somebody's going to be this Sunday.
I can figure something out.
I'll figure something out. I got it. Yeah. It's going to be real short because I'm cutting myself off. Get to the point. Keep it tight.
Well, somebody will have a Sunday Sessions podcast that you can listen to this Sunday around noon. This will be our last one for the week. We won't be here on Friday because we're doing a little spring break on Friday and Monday. I did want to give a little shout out because I know my husband Abe was a little nervous in telling his very personal story on Sunday Session, and I got some really cool messages from you and the Platypus Posse. Someone said, "Good morning, Miguel. I just finished your Sunday Sesh podcast with Abe, and it had me so emotional towards the end. I absolutely love hearing about the major events in his life and how it crafted him into the person he is today. You did wonderful navigating and asking the right questions. It was packaged perfectly. Just wanted to give some feedback because it definitely had me in my feels. And that is what makes a damn good podcast episode. Well done. Sending all love to you all." Another message, please tell Abe thank you for being so honest and vulnerable and sharing his story about the passing of his sister. It was so touching, definitely shed a tear. So helpful to someone who may be going through a similar situation. So I was just very thankful that he opened up like that because that's not an easy story for him to tell. So just thank you for those of you in the Platypus Posse, Miguel and Holly fam that have reached out. And if you feel some sort of way about it, please let us know in there. You can review the podcast and let us know.
Absolutely.
Moving on to not so pleasant things. We did this topic this morning on the show, but I didn't get to go more into it when I talked about how you let your real self come through in front of coworkers, because yesterday I was driving and there was someone that made a left turn, didn't put their blinkers on. So I had to sort of slam my brakes. And then the girl behind me slammed on her brakes, but then she was honking at me like it was my fault. And then I was going to let it pass because I was like, well, she clearly doesn't see that it was this big ass truck in front of me, but whatever. And then she came up beside me and gave me one of those what the fuck looks and then flipped me off.
Oh, hell no.
I'm not going to yell.
Okay.
Can.
I want to. No, I don't want to.
Are you sure you don't have something to release?
No.
Release the beast?
I have some very pointed words.
Oh.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
Oh. Let me save that.
Where's the... Oh, we can't use the music. Damn.
No, we can't use the
can't.
music. We can't.
It's illegal. It's illegal. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Because, here's my thing. You don't know what someone is going through. And here's what I do. Unless you, the only time I've really gotten up in someone else's junk for doing something wrong was when we were on the highway and they stopped in the middle of the highway because they were about to miss the exit. And I was like, okay, you were about to kill all of us in that moment.
You cannot stop on the, you know what? Your GPS will tell you how to do the next exit.
Right. And so that's when I was like, I almost just died, But in this case, we're going down a regular street. We were probably all going about 15 miles per hour, 20 miles per hour. What is so freaking important in your life in that moment that you need to look at me and give me the what the fuck look? You don't know what's happening in my day. You don't know if I have a pregnant woman behind me or if I'm hurting or if I have to poop or cry. take one freaking second of your life and just breathe.
Mm.
Because what did that do for you and for me?
Pissed off, both of you.
Okay. That's what I wanted to do this morning on the show. But then after our conversation with our boss yesterday, I'm like, I'm trying to keep it light and fun.
Light and
So-
fun.
Light and
We're
fun.
not trying to stress you out.
Right. So I'll stress you out in the podcast.
That's where we're gonna do
Well,
it.
'cause
If
yeah.
someone's gonna be stressed out, you're gonna do it on the podcast.
So I needed to release that from this morning. So
Okay.
thank you for allowing me that moment.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Kopkunka.
I believe. Was it?
Kopkunka.
So what the cop? That's
That's
so what the cop.
I'm not even gonna try to say it because I know I mess it up and offend somebody. So okay, so now I got that out of the way. Kelbin,
Yes.
Coachella.
Bitch.
Jeez, what happened? Tell us about the weekend.
Bro, what didn't happen?
You tell us,
Where
girl.
do I
I mean, I don't
start?
know.
I would prefer for you to interview me interview style because you know me. I'm going to start rambling and then I'm going to say things that don't really matter. I prefer for you to ask me what you're curious about than for me to be like, well, I did this and I did that and I sweated the whole day.
Well,
But
tell
you did
us.
sweat the whole day.
You did.
I did sweat.
Did you boob sweat?
Everywhere.
Mm.
You understand the back of my knees? I didn't realize that you could sweat from the back of the knees.
Oh, that's
the
one of
back of the
Miguel's
knees-
favorite parts to point out. When we used to live in Tampa, he'd be like, "Oh, it's time for the back of the knee sweat."
Mm.
I hate it. It's the armpit of the legs. It was so hot. And so everyone there that invited. So for those who don't know, I went with a group that listens to the Miguel and Holly morning show. Their names are Diego and Osvaldo, and they are the sweetest human beings ever. They're very much like mom and dad, dad and dad. They had an Excel sheet for us where there were things that we needed to buy, and they even had a map of where we were going to be sleeping and the camping grounds.
Wow.
And they were just so organized and so generous and fantastic. So we get there. We had our plan of when we needed to go. What else? I mean, day zero.
Well, I want to hear about day zero because we have been worried because you said there were parties happening on day zero, meaning the day before the actual festival started.
Correct.
And this is the day before Lady Gaga, which is one of the main reasons why you went and spent all this money was to see Gaga.
Correct.
And you were like, I'm gonna go party the day before I see Lady Gaga.
But did you?
I did.
Okay.
Oh.
Day zero was one of the worst days ever. It started out really lovely. We woke up at 5 a.m. and that wasn't anything crazy to me. I feel like I wake up pretty early all the time, so it was fine.
And you're in California time.
Yeah, so it was fine. For my friend, he was struggling a bit because nobody wakes up truly at 5 a.m., 4 a.m. So he was struggling, but I was fine. So we set up, we meet up at a gas station, and we're just like, all right, everybody's here. We're all going to go on at the same time. It's a 2-hour drive to Coachella Valley. So we go, we meet up at a Walmart, we buy some last minute things, and then we all head off. Come to find out, I'm not supposed to bring my own pills. And you know me, bitch. I have Vivascal pills, which is good for your hair, my minoxidil pills, a few other pills that are legal and prescribed from my doctor. And yeah, before anybody gets it twisted. And I was told that you had to bring it with your prescription bottle. And I started to freak out because I cannot lose my minoxidil. I'm not going to lose my beard or my hair. So I had to find a way on how to hide it.
So you were hiding pills.
I was hiding pills into Coachella.
Save
that. Save that. Save
yes,
it.
Yes. You were a drug donkey.
Yes. We snaw. And so that was already stressing me out beforehand. And on top of that, I brought a cologne bottle that's made out of glass and no glass is allowed. So I was already like, my YSL cologne, like, please don't throw it away.
So, hold on. Can you just pause for a second? Why in God's name would you bring Yves Saint Laurent in a glass bottle to a festival in the desert?
Because I get complimented every time I wear it.
He's like, I want compliments.
I would not want
No, I
the
just wanna smell
bugs that could possibly be. Anyway, it's fine. I was curious.
It was fine. We ended up hiding it in the bags. And so because we didn't get the actual lot, there's different versions of buying parking when it comes to camping. We were not able to get the one where we could park our car there and use the lot. We had to do companion parking is what it's called. So you park in a separate area and then you meet up with your crew in the camping grounds. So we get there, we see a ton of lines. My friend Corey is getting very much frustrated, road rage. I'm trying to be super helpful while also hiding my pills and my cologne. It was all the things happening at once.
Now, Kelbin, real quick, did you get caught up in that 12-hour
the waiting,
lines?
Or
was that like the day after day 0?
So weird. I don't understand. Some friends of mine, friends, were sending me that video of like, oh, look what's happening at Coachella. Like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to like piss me off? Like, are you trying to? Guess what? Joke's on you, bitch, because I didn't. I didn't wait in that line because I was in companion barking. My friends, however, though, the whole other group that was going to set up camp, they waited about maybe 5 hours.
Wait,
yeah.
I don't know about this.
Oh, yeah. There was this viral story and video that people were waiting 12 hours because of all the traffic to get into Coachella.
Now, to be fair, people were lining up at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., which is the norm sometimes for Coachella for you to get an incredible spot. We thankfully were in preferred car camping, so we were already up close, but they like to go early just to still be close, walkable to the festival itself. They waited about 5 hours. Yeah, it was about 5 hours. We got there maybe at like 8:30 or 9, didn't get into what, like 12, 1-ish? And that's at the peak of the heat.
Oh.
And that was the other battle that we were dealing with. A heat wave apparently had come through last minute, and
this sounds miserable.
It was so fucking miserable, and I will never do it again. But I don't want to complain about the weather and it be like I hated camping. If the weather was perfect, how they've gone to Coachella multiple times and they told me, the weather usually is capped out at like maybe 75, maybe 78, the hottest, and at night it's freezing. It's like 50s and 60s. And they were like, this weather, this is the hottest we've ever had the weather be. So
global warming.
I also felt like I'm such a bad luck charm that I was like, I knew this would happen. Like, I fucking knew this would happen.
Wait, so how hot did it get?
101 degrees at one point, bitch. I'm going to be cursing a lot on this podcast, so be forewarned.
Wow. And then what was the temperature at night?
Okay. So there were different nights that were okay, and there were nights that were not okay. So that first Thursday, setting up in the heat, it was terrible. And then it would reach about 101, 100, high 90s, and then at night it was like 77. Like, it did not feel good to go to bed. It was horrible.
And you're in that hot tent with the air's not moving.
The tent, because they cover the walls, the surrounding walls in the tents, so there wasn't really wind going through.
No breeze.
No breeze. And then we did party though. We went. They have this kind of hub, and it's like there's food stalls, there's a little convenience store, there's tattoos, there's little installations, and then there's this big white tent where DJ set up. And that's the first night. There's a tradition of like breaking bread or whatever, where you go on the hills and you see the sun going down. And my friend Corey was overstimulated and he did not want to do it. And we were a little late too. So it was fine. I saw it and that was fine. We walked back.
Now, how late were you out on day 0?
Not that late. I want to say maybe like 9 or 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Not
so y'all went back to the
reasonable.
tent and...
Yeah. We went back to the tent, went and slept, but it was hot.
Now, you were telling us before you left that y'all had these like portable showers that they brought.
Yes.
How was using that? I was hoping you would post about that, because I'm like, how did those showers turn out?
No, because one thing about me, baby, is you'll never see me suffer. Period. Never, ever.
Oh, I love to share suffering. I will
never see me sweat.
It's the Catholicism. I will put the guilt on there. Do you see me? Do you see how bad I'm suffering?
Because I posted that video literally the morning after day 0 about I'm not this age to be suffering. And somebody was like, "You're old enough to get an RV." I was like, okay, like the point was a joke. It was a joke.
It's a funny trend.
This is why I hate the internet.
Somebody else was like, "You couldn't pay me to camp." I didn't ask you, sis. But whatever, it's fine. It's fine.
Maybe it was supposed to be an internal like LOL. Like, oh, you couldn't pay me to camp. Good for you. Was it that, or was it less?
It probably could have been, but I didn't appreciate it because I was suffering.
You're like, actually, bitch.
Right.
Yikes.
So okay, the first shower was on day 0, and I did that after we did the setup, and there was only one, like, there's different areas where you can shower, but in our area specifically, only one of the trailers was open. So there was like a mini line. It really wasn't that long. When you stepped in, it was like a steam room, and it was already hot outside, and it was horrible.
Oh, so you can't even
in. It was like I felt like I was in prison. I was like, what did I sign up for?
Oh.
And you go in, you shower. It's a tiny little shower. You set up your stuff. I'm trying to remember the first one because I know my first 2 showers were completely different. They were in different trailers. The second one was even worse. I don't remember if I did it the next day or maybe there were times where I had 2-3 showers a day.
Oh, I bet.
The second shower was a different trailer, and it was flooding. Every single one was flooding, and I was disgusted. I had shower shoes on, but I was still disgusted. Ugh. And then with this second shower, I remember I had to put my toiletries on the outside of the shower curtain, and I didn't like that because I was like, bitch, I don't trust nobody. So that was that second shower. I did not appreciate the second shower.
Good Lord. Good
then
Lord.
My shower situation did change because there was a trailer that was towards the back. And not by far, but more on the back side. And the boys had to come back, and they were like, you guys have to go to the ones in the back. They're double occupancy. There's double curtains. There's room for you to put your clothes. There's room for you to like change.
Yeah.
And the pressure was perfect. And you had the option of hot and cold. And I was like,
yes.
And that completely changed the shower experience for me. Totally manageable. There's always lots of videos that say you had to wait hours to take a shower. I never waited hours, barely waited lines. I had a great time with the showers.
That's fantastic. Because I mean, I feel like that would affect my entire mood because not only are you sweating so much, but you just want to be like, all right, well, it was day 0. We got in. At least I can have a shower and refresh and get myself together. And then if that shower is miserable, it's not going to be pleasant.
It wasn't. That day 0 was hell. It was truly hell.
So if you could do it again, would you just go on day 1 or would you still go on day 0?
I would go on day 0 if the temperature was right and I wasn't camping. I mean, I don't know. If the temperature was right, I don't think I would have suffered as much.
Right.
I think I would be sitting here telling you it was so cold, and like in retrospect, I would rather complain about the cold than the heat that we endured. Because the camping really wasn't that bad. They've been doing it for years. So we had our own power bank. We didn't have to go to the hub where everybody was, where they were sitting by a chair and having their phone plugged in and wait. Like we didn't do any of that. We had our own little box there. They had their own little stove top there where they were cooking. My friend and I did not prepare. We just bought beef jerky and Oreos. And so we would pay for breakfast every morning while they were having like peanut butter sandwiches and, hard-boiled eggs. We didn't prepare for any of that.
How much were the meals there? How much?
Horrible.
Horrible.
Oh my God. I went to Dave's Hot Chicken and I spent like $25 for a chicken sandwich and fries. That's it. No soda.
Wow.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Pizza was like $20 and it was one slice.
Yeah.
Coffee was $14, which I didn't have.
Oh, good for you. They did right with them hard-boiled eggs and stuff.
Yeah. Wow. See, I love how your friends prepare. Like I would only go to something like that with people that are experienced, that know what they're doing, that have the list, and they're like, bring this, because there are so many blind spots if you've never been before.
God,
that's like, how do you know how to prepare for this entire experience?
Yeah, they were fantastic. And like, you really think about it, like hearing this right now, you're like, man, I would have been starving with just a hard-boiled egg and a ham and cheese sandwich. When you're out there, you're not even thinking about food. And I thought too, I was like, I'm gonna eat everything. Like I was researching what to eat at Coachella. You don't even think about that stuff because you're walking so much. You're excited for the performances. You don't really, food really is secondary.
Food is fuel at that point because there's so much going on. You're just refueling your body to keep going.
Correct.
So that's why probably peanut butter sandwiches just work fine because you're just like, I don't even care. Just let me eat something and go.
Something so I can have energy. Yes.
Yeah.
And that I did learn. That was really cool. I did walk around shirtless for the first time in public, and I thought that was really cool.
Wow.
I'd never really done that aside from like a beach and a pool.
Right.
So that was really cool. That was very freeing.
Were you nervous to do it?
Yes, absolutely. And I didn't do it back at camp until like maybe the next day. But yeah, I was a little bit nervous because there's hot people that go there.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
really
all the
hot people.
I mean, well, at least to me, it's almost like a gay cruise where the promotional items they put out it's always the most like chiseled, well-looked person. And you're always like, all right, does anyone that look like me actually take their shirt off or go to these things?
Mhm.
So it's so cool that you were able to just feel so free and like let them tatas out.
Yes, girl.
Now,
Yeah.
Lady Gaga.
Mhm.
Tell us about what the energy was like before she came on. Like, what were people saying? What were you feeling?
So this was Friday, and I remember going into the festival, and we went right when it opened. And I was like, how the fuck am I going to survive 11 hours of this? Like, once you got to the festival, though, it was great because, yes, it was hot, but the wind was perfect.
Oh, good.
So it was like every single morning, every single day, I could tell you, it was horrible to get ready because it was so hot. But the minute you got into the festival, oh, it was beautiful. It was free. The wind is flowing. The energy's up. The music's everywhere. So I looked at the time and it was 12 o'clock and they were showing me like all the stages because I'd never been. And the first stage was like this air conditioned place called Yuma. And they were dancing and I saw couches and I was like, I'll see y'all on the fucking couch.
I'm gonna have me a little seat.
I'm gonna sit.
A couch hates to see Kelbin coming, girl.
And there was air conditioning. There was disco balls. I had a time. They probably thought I was suffering. I was having a great time. I was like, y'all dance. The disco lights, the air conditioning. It was great. So that's how it started. I had a little bit of energy after that. And funny enough, you talked about your friend John Bussert. He was actually there at Coachella, and we were trying to get in contact with us, but it was impossible.
Yeah,
we just couldn't.
I know he was trying to like send me pictures of where he was to send to you. And I was like, girl, that's not gonna happen. Y'all just either gonna run into each other by accident or it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, we tried. It was impossible. But that was around that time that he texted me. And yeah, so fast forward, Missy Elliott was on at like 9 o'clock. And her set was from 9 to 10. Gaga wasn't on till 11. And so we meet up with our friends. I can't remember what had happened before. We saw some DJ. And as we were walking, they were like, hey, we're right here in front of the rails, in front of the front stage of it, where she did Garden of Eden, where she did Poker Face, where she did the piano songs. And we didn't think anything of it. We probably knew she was going to be there, but nobody had crowded around yet. So it was around maybe 8:30. I can't really remember, but we were like, whatever, we'll just hunker down here.
Wait, and then real quick, so Missy Elliott, she was on a different stage?
Same stage.
Same main stage. Now, I'm so curious.
Yes.
In my mind, people that go to Coachella are like in their 20s. How was the reaction to Missy Elliott? Were people like knowing the songs? Were they with it? Or was it like the older people in the back who were like, I'm not staying the whole time, who were like, get it, Missy?
You know, what was really great where we were, I didn't really see people in front of me. All I had was the stage and that open area. So I can't really tell you. I know that some people on the internet were like, why aren't you guys going crazy for this? From my perspective, Missy didn't do a really great job. Like, she has the hits,
right?
But I think it had to do with the camera work and whatever filters they were doing. We couldn't see her really going crazy. The music was fun. We were all dancing. All of us were dancing, but
so it was an enjoyable experience. But
yeah,
it wasn't
shown correctly. I don't know, and I think that really affects the whole stadium, or not the stadium, but the whole field.
Because I'm assuming they have like big screens, and if you're like way back, that's what you're depending upon to feel and see what's happening are the big screens.
Correct. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, I could see Missy, but I was depending on the big screens, even though I wasn't that far. I don't know. The whole crew was dancing. We were having a good time. So that was that. She went on till 10.
And you stayed there till 10.
And I stayed there till 10. I had to pee and other things.
Do some business.
Yeah, do some business.
And prepare your body for Lady Gaga.
Correct. And I thought to myself, no, I am not leaving from my spot. I did not leave.
Wait.
I did not
You
leave,
held
girl.
it?
I held it.
Wait, and like, how bad was this? The Dave's Hot Chicken that was like,
No. It was
ready
just
to exit?
regular. It was just regular. Like,
Okay.
I was like, if I do this now, I'd probably be a little bit more comfortable. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to. I'm going to hunker down and stay here. Because I was too scared to step out. Because what if
that's a chance?
People crushed. Yeah. And
that's a chance. How far away was the bathroom from where you were?
A few minutes.
Ooh.
A few, yeah.
Because I mean, we learned just here at Love and Life, like if you move from your spot, even though your friends are there, it's almost impossible to get your way back to them.
It is.
So that makes sense.
It is. So I was like, okay, fine. I will stay here. Thankfully, our friend Ozzy, he was already at the rails, and I was like, hey, hey, like, for Missy, you're on the rails. Do you care if I like get on the rails for Gaga? And he was like, no, not at all. Go ahead. And I was like, thank you. You're just so sweet. He's my little angel. And so I got on the rail. I made friends with the person next to me. He was like an older gentleman and he was nice. And then at one point I just sat. I sat for the hour because I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like we had been partying already for 9+ hours.
Yeah.
And are people drinking throughout this?
People are drinking other things.
Other things?
We can make assumption it's a music festival.
Yeah, just, passing things around.
Passing things around.
Yeah.
And so yeah, people were doing that. And then as time was starting to get closer and closer and closer, people are starting to bunch up. There was this really obnoxious Hispanic couple that just kept yapping and they were complaining about Benson Boone, that they missed his set. And I was like, girl, who gives a fuck about Benson Boone? Like, we're here for Gaga. He did an incredible job though. I missed it because we're going to see him at Love and Life. So
he's going to be closer. You're going to be right there.
I didn't care. So
I'm hoping to interview him when he's here, but anyway.
Well, yes. And they were nonstop complaining about missing his set and all this shit and whatever. That was part of the memories that I have from that. Then that's it. Time starts. I'm texting Oscar and Oscar's telling me that he's awake, ready to watch the stream with me. And I was like, yay, I'm so glad we get to experience it together. And so that's it. It begins and she starts off with Mayhem, her alter ego, and then Gaga, and they're both going back and forth. And it was like an opera theater concert. It was intense. Like the story was kind of like her trying to live a dual life with her Mayhem. And it starts off with Bloody Mary and she comes out in that big old red dress that's like 2 stories high. And what I really loved about the production value is that like there were certain times where her voice, they would do that demon voice. That scary demon voice sometimes. And
I feel like people that be tripping in the audience would be like, no. Can you imagine?
So it's funny. Jason Hole sent us an article of like, oh, people think that the performance was satanic, and it was devilish and all this shit. It really wasn't. It sounded like it was. There was red elements and
like if you're not paying attention, like on surface level.
Correct.
Demons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
If you're understanding like probably the nuance.
Yeah, it was just like it was supposed to be dark and scary and eerie, but it had nothing to do. There was no 666. There's no upside down cross. There was none of that.
Yeah.
And then she starts with the category is dance or die, and I fucking levitated. Like my arms like just goosebumps, and like I can't. I want to relive that for the rest of my life. Like she starts off with Abracadabra. We thought that she was going to close it with Abracadabra, and then the transition happened
into Judas.
And I was filming, and all I've ever wanted to do was listen to Judas, like the actual Judas, not the rock version she did for Enigma, but the actual Judas composition. And that's it. I was the SpongeBob meme, just levitating in the middle of the crowd. I was right here just watching her perform. Oh, it was so good. And then she does Bloody Mary, and she does that walk with the feather, and she's just stomping. And then that's more of the demon sounding of her voice going in, doing Bloody Mary. No, Shiza. Sorry, Shiza. Oh, it was so fucking good. It was the most incredible 4 songs back to back to back, how she opened it up. And that was Act 1. And yeah, and then we started to notice that she will be using that stage because she started to do Garden of Eden as she was like playing with the guitar. And so she did that whole dance break right in front of us, and it was so cool. Then she did that whole poker face thing where she killed her old version of herself, with the lace and the crown. She like, I don't know, she did something and she like killed herself, and then it went into poker face. Oh, it was so good. And then it just kept going. She did more of the Mayhem tracks.
Yeah.
And then she did the piano on the main stage, and I was like, oh, I thought she was gonna play piano in front of us because we saw a tiny little piano there, and we were like, that looks really cheap. I don't see why she would play out of that piano. All of a sudden we see her bodyguard there, and I know the bodyguard because of course I've seen him so many times.
You're like, oh hey photos. Brian, how's it going?
You're that gal.
I know you.
You're that gal. You're like, oh, this is the bodyguard.
Like, oh, I follow you on Instagram. How's your wife Leslie? She doing well?
Yes. So I saw that a lot of the tech people were talking to him, and he was just sitting down, like getting ready. I don't know what to do, but she comes back to that stage that's in front of us. She starts to play Vanish Into You after she did like Born This Way, I think, or something. I don't know. It's super fun. and she's playing the piano, and all of a sudden she gets up, she turns around because it was her back to us, and I was like, oh, I don't like that, but whatever, it's fine. She's so close to us. She's doing Vanish Into You. She turns around, and that's when she starts dancing towards the stairs to go downstairs towards us. And in the video, you can hear me going, stop, stop, stop. And I'm looking at everybody like, are y'all seeing this right now? Are you seeing this? She is going down the steps and she starts doing the whole like saying hi to everybody. And my friends who were there, she stopped at one point and did this move to her during a song to one of the girls that was in our group. And the boys were able to like touch her or whatever. I had my hand out, and I really wish at that point I had done the whole selfie thing. And I felt like that would have made her stop, but I was too focused on getting the moment of her walking.
Right.
So I didn't really touch her. I didn't even brush her hand, but she was like right in front of me. So
right there.
I don't care. I touched her already in the Art Pop concert, so I didn't feel that bad. So yeah, people were like, "Did you touch her?" I was like, "I didn't," but she was right in front of me. So
that's okay. The energy was there.
Right.
The energy was there. I wasn't like jealous or anything. I was a little tiny jealous that my friend Corey ended up coming out on the live stream, and you can see me in the live stream, but it's a millisecond. But he was there just smiling and whatever. And I was like, "Bitch, you don't even like her like that." But yeah, that was the only thing that I got a tiny bit jealous about. But it was like I could not ever regret where I was for the whole concert. And then it just kept going back to back to back. More hits, more hits, more hits. She brought out Gesaffelstein. She played a lot of instruments. She did opera. She did paparazzi. She did Disease for the first time live. Yeah. And then
what an amazing set.
It was just such an amazing set. Like,
when that is over, like, is there a party when Gaga's done? Or they're like, all right, everybody, go back to your tents. Party's over. We're done.
We were just like on cloud nine. Like I remember just walking back. We waited for the crowd to kind of clear up a bit. And then that's when we started taking our photos in front of like that rainbow cylinder thing.
Oh yeah, that big tall thing that everybody always like. It's like an I don't even know. Can you walk inside of there?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can walk inside of it.
Yeah.
Did you go to the bathroom?
Did I?
Holly said, wait.
Definitely.
But where was the poop inside of you this entire time?
I think I slept. I slept. I did pee though. I did pee.
Oh my gosh, your bowels.
It was weird. It was like it was weird. My pee and my other went away when the concert started. My back pain went away when the concert started.
Girl, your body was like, we're gonna just suck it all back in so you can see Gaga.
Like your body went into a state of, what is it? Like, I don't know if it would be fight or flight. It wouldn't be. It was like the adrenaline probably sucked everything back in.
It was. And we got really lucky. I guess some of the security around there had coolers and they were passing out waters and stuff. There was even some Olipop, some sparkling water. I was like, I'll take a Diet Coke. I had a Diet Coke while she was when she went into, I think, Bloody Mary into Abracadabra, I go, no. And I tossed my Diet Coke into the trash can. And I was like, I'm here. Okay. So it was nice. I got to enjoy that. No, we started taking photos. We started taking photos for a little bit, waited for the festival to clear out. And yeah, there is a silent disco party. And I remember telling you guys about it. I was like, man, they're going to party all day until like 4 a.m. You are able to do that. But everybody was so tired. Like every single night we just went to sleep. We did not do silent disco any night.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I remember just after Love and Life last year, it was that Saturday night, I think.
It was Stevie Nicks?
Yeah, because a bunch of people came over because it rained.
Yes.
And everyone was like, all right, we're going to this like warehouse party. And I was like, the fuck I am. I did not. We probably had like 16 people at our house and they all went out. No. And I was like,
insane.
This is the first time in my life I have zero FOMO. None.
Here's the thing. Drugs help. Like drugs truly
if you
help.
are on the drugs, you're going to be able to keep going.
Keep going,
that's
sleep.
That's how that happens, I think.
And we're not, like, we don't do those kind of drugs.
Right. So you're like, time to bed.
That's why we're always like, what? How could you do it?
Right.
It's because we're not.
No.
We're not doing that stuff.
Yeah.
So So yeah, and I had the options. I had multiple options, multiple chances to try certain things, and
I'm sure everyone's just passing
Passing it out.
yes, my good. And
All
you know
around.
what? I love my ganja, and it is legal in California before
It
anybody feels the type of way.
Mhm.
I barely smoked, to be quite honest. It was so hot
Yeah.
that
I would feel like it would make you drowsy. It usually makes me drowsy.
Like it was too hot to enjoy it. And then at night, I was like, I want to be conscious. So
Right. You want to soak in all the memories.
correct. Because then I
Yeah.
forget a few things. So I was like, no, I want to be fully sober for present for Gaga. And then Saturday was Brat Day.
Oh gosh. Your shirt that you
That was a choice.
You like that?
Mhm.
I was duped, first of all, because all the boys.
Wait, let me bring this up.
Yeah.
Let me bring this up.
All the boys that said that they were the
Mhm.
shirt were like, hey, we're gonna all wear this. And I was like, cute. Less planning for me for an outfit, right?
Right.
'Cause
Right,
I
then you just go with what the crowd.
Coachella's a whole fashion fest.
Yeah.
I felt so cool that I was wearing these kind of clothes because I never wear these kind of things. But man, some people really came dressed to the downs. Like,
I feel like I need to get some outfits for Love and Life, by the way.
you should. You
Look
should.
I feel like I should.
I look
Look at
fucking
you.
cool.
You
No,
look
you-
cool as fuck. I
like
was like, oh, I know him.
It doesn't look like you. So obviously, if
Yes.
you are listening to this, so you have on like a green Brat bandana.
Well, yeah.
It's a tank top with the
It's like it's a sleeveless shirt, is what
A
it is.
sleeveless shirt and a crop t-shirt with some baggy black pants.
And then what does the shirt say?
Uncut.
Okay. So
I
there's
like the other one too. Go to the last one.
all right.
Go to the last one.
All right, hold on. We're going
Yeah,
through some of your videos here on your
yeah.
Instagram. Oh, that's cute. You had a little jersey with
Yeah.
your married last name on it.
That's the benefit of car camping. Like that was the daytime, and then when I was like, all right, gotta freshen up. It was during T-Pain set. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go shower really quick, and then come back with that new outfit.
Mhm.
All right. Oh, so y'all are just walking around with these uncut shirts on.
yeah.
Did y'all get lots of comments on them?
No,
Really?
no, honestly, no.
I don't feel like anybody's commenting on any because everybody's wearing crazy shit.
Correct. Somebody did come from behind me when I was wearing the Cordova, the baseball jersey, and they were like, sir. And I was like, yes. She was like, are you bumping that? And I was like, no, no, I am not. Maybe
Wait.
later, but no.
What does that mean?
Bumping that. Like, are you doing coke?
Why is she
It's-
asking you whether or not you're doing coke?
Because it
right
was the
now?
Brat colors. So her song is bumping that, bumping
Oh.
that, bumping that, bumping that, boom,
Oh.
boom, boom, boom.
Okay,
boom,
okay, I
boom.
got it now. I got it.
Holly, we just aged out by like 3 years.
It's
I know.
okay.
I'm sorry. I don't know all of the.
I had to learn it
innuendos.
too. I was like, bumping what? Oh, God.
See,
Well, I understand that you do a bump of coke, but I
Right.
didn't understand what that had to do with your shirt until I got it.
The green colors. It was cool. You saw a lot of people in that green color because a lot of people were here for Charlie. Or
Yeah.
Charlie. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Look at me.
Well, look at you. So when you look at this picture, because obviously I want to take a moment to also give you your flowers. When you think about Kelbin from a year ago, before you had your boob surgery, before you have been on your health journey, your minoxidil. I mean, this is an entirely different person than, and I say this because as you were gone and I was posting some stories, that's what
Bitch, our own photo shoot. I already look different. I hate our photo shoot, our promo photos.
there was a video.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
I don't even know why we're laughing, but I'm laughing. I don't know what it
Just
is.
laughing at how I look.
No.
Look at it.
No, it was just such a contrast from where you are now to who that was then.
Yeah.
You
It's the same on the inside. On the inside.
Bitch is still laughing hard. Like, can't stand him.
Look at you. Look at
No,
you.
you look so good. It was just the contrast
Oh.
of that video of like you were just so happy. You were like, "Good morning, guys," on the story, and like just your face was very pleasant. You know, it was very, it was heavy, full, bulbous,
Bald. Bulbous.
Bulbous.
Bitch. Bitch, look at this.
Oh my God.
Whew, okay.
Mhm.
All right. So anyway,
Mhm.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I say all that to say
Oh,
I'm very proud of you.
Thank
Very
you.
proud of you.
he laughed all the laughs
Okay.
to say.
Very proud of you. You did a
You
good
look
job.
crazy
Thank
back then,
you.
bitch. That's what
You
he
did.
said.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. You just
No.
look very happy back then. So you look happy now. You just-
Well, yeah, no, I feel really good. I
Mhm.
feel like I'm in a hot boy era. It's
Mhm.
been a while. I've been here before, but not with a beard, not
It's a grown
stylish.
man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I think that's the difference too, is that video. You look so young. And now you look like a man.
Yes. Yes.
I feel like a man. I feel really
We got
cool.
to witness Kelbin's second puberty.
Yes, we
Yay.
did.
Look at that.
Yes.
We've gotten to witness several men's.
We have. I love that. We get to we bring y'all into our bosom
when you're little
young.
babies with your baby faces.
Yes. And then we see you grow into men.
Oh man.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that.
Whew. So how has the after effects been since Coachella?
I feel like I want to keep posting. Like I have so many other videos that I want to post.
Mhm.
I think I'm kind of shoving it down people's throats, but also it's your choice to watch my story if you want to or not,
Absolutely.
right? I want to keep posting stuff. I have one more post that I'm gonna do today of like day 3 and then also mix in a little bit of day 0. Yeah. I miss the little crew. They were so sweet. They were so nice. There was never any like, weird tension or like little quips. Cause sometimes you hang around with people and especially in those kind of conditions and people will
Mhm.
snap. None of that. No ego. Everybody was so sweet, so kind. Yeah. I would do it again.
But you said I would never do it again.
But I
so-
would never camp again.
Oh.
But I would do Coachella again. Like I see
Right.
why people do this every single year. It
Mhm.
is such an experience. It's
Now,
so cool.
How much does it cost to actually like have a camp or a cabin or what is it?
RV.
So I don't know. And I'm expecting the boys to charge me because they haven't charged me yet.
Oh.
But no, they haven't told me anything. I could see them totally being like, I'm not charging you. I hope they do. I'm not saying that they don't, but I hope they do. We should.
Right.
I'm not sure how much camping is.
Or like if you want it, or what are the other options outside of staying in a tent?
So they have the air conditioned tents that go for about $12,000, but you get VIP tickets, you get air conditioning, you get breakfast, you get shuttled to the concert, you get front row.
I mean,
automatically.
listen, if this is like your favorite thing to do,
okay,
and you're rich, you would do it.
I agree. It's like a Europe trip. If you think about it, it's a little shorter.
Right.
But
listen, if Beyonce were doing it and they somehow brought Whitney Houston back from the dead, then
you
I
always
would
say like, ain't nobody bringing Whitney back from the dead. You have to choose from now. Artists.
No, which is why I'm not doing any of these things.
I know, because
it's not possible.
Lana Del Rey, she headlined, and I was like, that wouldn't sell me. Like, I wouldn't want to go to that.
Wait, didn't Beyonce do Coachella a couple years ago?
She did
for Lemonade.
2018 was her homecoming.
2018.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's what. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You would maybe could have gone to.
Yeah,
that
I
one.
would do that if she were doing it again. But I was actually just listening to a podcast where they were talking about the health of music festivals and why they're not selling out like they used to. But someone like a Lady Gaga or a Post Malone, like a headliner, they make about $5 million for Coachella. But if they do both weekends, and they get $10 million. But so many of those big artists are doing their own tours, and so they're like, well, I can make more money if I do a stadium tour than opposed to Coachella. And then there are so many different options. Then they live stream it. Most interesting podcast about the economics of these festivals and whatnot. So, well, good. Well, we're so glad you had so much fun.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm so tired. Like it's day 2 that I'm back, and it's just.
I think jet lag too. Truly, it f's you up a little bit.
Well, Holly, before we head out, do you have anything?
I just want to talk about the White Lotus real quick.
Oh, that's right. We got to talk about the White Lotus because Holly finally finished it.
And side note, Lisa, aka Mook, an incredible performer.
And I didn't know that it was old homegirl from Blackpink.
Yes,
Well, the whole time I watched the White Lotus, I was just pissed at her for being such a bitch.
Yes. Well, she was. Yeah. She said it at Coachella. She was like, for those White Lotus fans, for those who don't know, this is Mook, on her time off. She's a pop star. So I like that she gave that little reference. It was so cute.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, Holly, after you've seen it, well,
spoiler, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Right.
Like, obviously, if you're listening to a podcast, you're going to be able to hear that and just stop listening.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you have any more thoughts after? Because Kelbin, we did talk about last Friday the monologue that Carrie Coon gave about friendship.
Yeah, I had some thoughts about that one.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was beautiful. I also thought it was also a little tiny slap at the end. But not a slap in a bad way, just more so like, you know what, I'm going to accept you for what you love and what you care for, because that's what it is. Their relationship, obviously, they don't live together. They've, as she said in her monologue, they've grown apart, but they're still a unit, and when you're together, you kind of relive those things. Like everybody has a separate life. And so how she ends it with being like, I'm happy you have a beautiful face. I'm happy you love what did she say? I love your family,
beautiful
life.
Your life. Yeah. Like for the beautiful face, it's very vain.
Right.
And she's a celebrity. So
I felt like that was like when John Mayer was like, if you're pretty, it's just like, oh, good on you for your face.
Right.
It felt very shallow.
Yeah. And that's what it kind of felt like. But it also felt like, the whole monologue was beautiful. And it felt like it was an acceptance. Like, I'm going to love you for whatever if you like it, I love it. And that was the thing. She's a celebrity. She wants the hot guy.
Right.
And I felt
she
like that's
wants
what that meant.
to look. Yeah. I mean, I think that was accepting people truly for who they are.
Correct. Yeah.
Because like if you have a vain friend, that's a vain friend. That doesn't make them a bad person. They just care about how they look. And she's like, I love the fact that you care so much about your face, even though that's not important to me.
Right.
I love you for loving that about yourself.
Right.
I like that. Okay. I'll take that.
To me, that's how I took it, as like truly understanding people for who they are and not putting expectations of your values on these friends that you've had for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. I do like that.
Yeah. And then the whole life one was like, you know what? You like your little Republican life? Good for you, girl. Because I think if they lived together and they were in the same area, I don't think that's how it would have ended. I think because they are living their own separate lives, you're able to just kind of appreciate who your friends are.
Roots go deep.
Correct. So yeah, I really like that part of that monologue.
That's nice. I like that too. I like that. Thank you all for bringing that out. Because like, honestly, I wouldn't have, I thought the monologue was great, but it didn't touch me the way it touched you guys, which is weird. Being a woman.
Yeah.
That's of roughly that age. But like me and my friend Aaron were like that. We're not those ladies.
You're like,
right?
No. We're a little bit younger, right? We're not. No.
Okay. But yeah, it didn't hit me as deep as I think it hit you. And I'm not quite sure why. I could do a deep dive if I wanted to, but I do really appreciate the points that you both brought out about it. And I think that they're very wise and spot on. But I think it's because I didn't relate to that storyline very well because, like, yes, I guess I have some friends that like go back, like, cause my college friends, for example, right? So I've obviously known them for 25 years now. Old, but, and like, we all just some of us just did see each other last fall. We went back for like the college reunion or whatever. But it didn't feel like when we all got together, it didn't really feel like what those ladies were doing. Like I couldn't really relate because they were so mean and snippy behind each other's backs. It just, for the first several episodes, I was like, damn, these ladies hate each other. And I do get it. Like, I get it, the full bow at the end. And like, I hate you, but I love you and we're deep and all this and this. And I felt kind of like, I don't know if I really relate to that plot line that well. I probably do in ways that I don't know. But it just felt like I'm just not sure. But that's why I like y'all's take on it. So my thoughts.
So what were your thoughts on the finale?
So I was right. My prediction was right about who died. We had this conversation. We had some friends over. And so we were all talking about like, okay, well, who do y'all think is going to be it? And I said, again, spoiler alert, please, for God's sakes. Spoiler alert for White Lotus.
Actually, I'll put this on the screen too.
Yes. Don't just jump in here thinking that you're not going to get White Lotus spoiled, because you will. I don't want it to spoil it for anybody. So, when we were sitting around before the finale aired, we were like, well, who do you think is going to die? And I said, I think it's going to be, what's her name? Chelsea. I think it's going to be Chelsea that goes, or Rick. But I felt more so like Chelsea, because I was like, she keeps making bad decisions and she's had every opportunity to leave this man, but she just does not get it. And I'm like, and she's very pure and innocent, and she is going to die as a result of his stupid actions.
Right.
And I said that out loud, and I knew it. Now, my fiance, on the other hand, in this little group, we're sitting around with friends asking who we think is going to die. He was like, I think it's one of the rich family, Lucius Malfoy and
the Ratcliffes.
The Ratcliffes. Right. He's like, I think one of the kids is going to die. He said, I think it's either the youngest boy or the daughter. And I'm like, what? He's like, it feels right that. He's like, I don't know about the daughter, maybe. He's like, I definitely think the youngest boy is going to die. So when this episode played out, we were like, oh. I was like, I'm right. You're right. Everybody's fucking right. But then, of course, you got sort of the redemption, at least, with that poor boy. I felt so bad for that poor boy.
Poor Lachlan. I was just like, he's just been through it. He's so confused.
Been through the ringer. First,
with the worst family.
With the worst fucking family. I was like, first, not him living while his entire fucking family dies.
Right.
If that is what would have happened. And I was like, no. Kill him too, for God's sake. Don't let him live with that trauma. And then when he's like, the coconut milk is, I was like, I need to just put that into conversation somewhere. The coconut milk is off.
It's off.
I love that so much. So then it happens, and then I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I thought he was going to die that day because I thought he had snuck some. And that's when I told my fiance, I was like, I think you're right. Oh my God, I think you're right. But then it was like the next morning and everything that happened with that. I was like, oh, this poor boy. He's just so, I guess he's the innocent people. But then somehow that all turned around. But I just thought, yes, on this whole Chelsea and Rick thing, I was like, God, time after time, she has been shown that this is not the path. This is not the way. And she just insists on it. And so I was like, it's just very, it's a tragedy. That is such a tragedy because it's your own doing. And, and yeah, so anyway, I thought it was like Kelbin said, they landed the plane. Like everything finally came together. And I really loved it as a season, having seen the end, how everything really did tie together with how it all worked out. There were a couple surprises, and there was a couple like good moments and bad moments, but overall, I really liked this season. Not as much as the first season, certainly, but I appreciated it once I saw the ending. Like, I'm not here to say this was my favorite season at all, but I did like how they did the arc.
It was okay. It wasn't it wasn't a bad season. I watched the White Lotus to escape, but also see rich people be in drama and chaos. So we got that, we got what they were trying to serve. But man, some of the plot lines were kind of pointless. The whole incestuous thing really didn't lead anywhere. I thought maybe the older brother was gonna be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gay. I don't know, something.
I didn't know where that was going either. I feel like it was a very big up the hill to no climax, and then it went nowhere. Not even really down. I was just like,
nothing.
See,
what was the point of that? I mean, it gave you more empathy for the youngest boy, for Lachlan.
Like, to me, I took it as like, what do you do when your family is so self-centered, and when you're surrounded by that, and then you sort of are like, you're so different, and everybody's pushing and pulling you to be this way. And so that's what I feel like happens with so many people pleasers. And then what I really, really identified with this character is being a chameleon and sort of never truly knowing who you are.
Right. That was what I picked up from.
Right. Because to me, I think that what happened is because the incest storyline was so big and controversial and out of the box that we lost that to me, I think what Mike White was trying to say is when you grow up around narcissist and you're a people pleaser and a chameleon, that you're truly willing to do anything to sort of make someone happy or to mold yourself. I mean, he was about to like stay in a monastery for a year just because his sister wanted to do it, you know,
Like,
and he had no desire to do that. But he's like, well, if that's what you want to do, let's do it. And it's like, you're about to totally change your life. And to me, that storyline, it was not necessarily about the incest, but more about Lachlan, hopefully now, after all of this, saying, okay, I don't need to always like change my colors to make someone else comfortable.
No, that makes sense.
Find out who he is.
Right.
Because it fucks you up. Obviously, he's fucked up.
Right.
Like probably more than maybe all the other ones in the family who are clearly fucked up on their own, but they're fucked up in a very specific way. He's so fucked up because he has no idea, you know, who he's just like floating out here. And so that's why I just felt so sad for him, who he's just, even that actor, whoever they got to play that boy, like had just such a vacant and like puppy dog look on his face 99% of the time, because you could tell he was just waiting for someone to tell him, what do I do?
Yeah. Right.
And I did also like Patrick Schwarzenegger's arc because you can tell that Chelsea changed him.
Yeah.
Just throughout the course of the week, just by not giving in to him. And you would hope, you know, that obviously, like if you know, this went to a season 2 for those people, that, you know, he wouldn't just revert back to like his asshole self, that like he's a little bit changed by the interaction with her, and maybe that's her contribution.
Well, and I think too, it's sort of like I would love for them to do a whole spinoff series of just following them back to Durham to see what happens.
Yes.
Because I think what was beautiful about it is they all are about to turn on their phones and feel like their world is blown up. And remember, Patrick Schwarzenegger's character, he told his dad, like, I am you.
Yes.
My entire identity is wrapped around you.
I have made myself into you, which is obviously too what the younger brother's doing with the older, but like, he's like, tell me what to do here.
But to me, what I found like so fascinating and so deep about it is he has now a lifeboat, because when his world is about to crash and he's going to find out that he's been trying to build this life to be like his dad, that's not on solid footing. But now he will have these books that Chelsea gave him to be like, okay, well, maybe there's another way.
And he'll have the memory of, I think he truly, like, her rejection of him obviously made him want her more.
Right.
But her insistence and her like dedication to a whole nother person gives him context that like, it's not just about looks or getting the next bang or whatever. And he saw that too with all these young ladies on the yacht with these old men, and, you know, her story being a little different, Chelsea's. And so it just got the wheels turning in a different way. So yes, this financial crash that they're about to go through, I think will actually be the best thing for him. What's his name? Saxon, yeah. For Saxon. And I just think that that's an interesting storyline, and also gives Chelsea some redemption, because she was able to save someone.
Her life was worth it.
It just wasn't Rick, who she was never going to save. I mean, ever.
Go ahead, Kelbin.
I would have liked to have seen them figure out that they were about to be broke.
Yeah, like I
want to know what did I miss this? Because sometimes when I watch it, I have having a Trulies and whatnot, and I sometimes forget details, and I'm like, oh, that did happen. Did they ever say exactly what the dad did?
I think some sort of either insider trading or embezzlement or something like that. I don't remember. It was like a quick line or two when he was on the phone with someone, but they never really said what it was. But it was enough that the New York Times or whoever was like about to do a story about it, and the FBI was involved.
Okay. I just didn't know if I had missed a major plot point, because I was always like, what was it exactly? I knew obviously like financially he was in a lot of trouble, but I didn't know why. Okay, it didn't matter.
Real quick before we head out, I just want to say real quick, if you are Belinda, would you have taken that money?
Absolutely. I would have taken the $100,000. Like, what are you talking about?
100%.
Right.
I would have not even known. And so that way, like when the son, which clearly a really good negotiator, went in with all that. And then when Belinda left and it was secretly part of the plan, my fiance was like, God, I was hoping she would do that. That is such a smart move. And I was like, I didn't even know you could do. Like, this is how bad I would be at sales. Do you understand? When people are like, oh, you're on radio, you sell yourself. No, this is how bad I am in sales. When she did that, I truly believed that she was walking away. And I was like, oh, mama, no. And then he's like, yes, she's doing it. And I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? They played the long game. So if I had someone with me, my fiance is a pretty good negotiator. Like, if I had someone with me to do it and we could get $5 million, I would absolutely do that. But then at the same time, this is my brain. I was like, what about taxes? Like, you have to claim income. Like, how does that work? Do you have to get an offshore account? Like, what do you?
I love the guilt that she played afterwards. That little guilt, that anxiety that she was getting even after she got it. It was very realistic, I feel.
Yeah. Although, shame on her for doing to Porn Chai exactly what Tanya did to her.
Yeah, she barely knew Porn Chai. She barely knew Porn Chai.
Okay.
Do we know everybody we've had sex with?
Well, no.
No. But I think, though, that she does, though. But I also feel like she kept saying, I need a fucking break.
Yeah.
And so I would have been like, hey, boy, I'll be in contact. Give me about 6 months to just figure out my life. And then we'll talk about it.
Right. But I think maybe in that moment, she maybe understood Tanya a little bit more.
Right.
Because it was really the exact same turnaround. But like when you're someone with now suddenly a ton of money and you're going to go in on business with someone you don't really know who doesn't have money and is desperate for it, and you don't know the logistics, you kind of have to block yourself off and say no. So I think that she then, unfortunately, what she did to him is what happened to her, but she understood it now from the other perspective.
Yeah. Yep.
And then real quick, just to round it out, I just love, and now granted, this is a TV show and not everything is going to, follow as it would in real life. But like there was a mass shooting at this place, and then they're all on the boat an hour later, like,
they're like,
bye. And then they're like waving them off. And I'm like, nobody's crying. No one's upset. I'm like,
no one acknowledged it.
No.
But I don't think anybody saw it also. Like, I think that they could have played off the sounds as like firecrackers or something, because at a resort like that, they would whisk that away quickly or like block it off, because when you're at a resort like that, they do everything in their power to not let you see behind the curtain. So I don't think they all even knew that happened, truly.
I don't know, but because remember at the beginning when Zion was, at the meditation place and like there was straight because it wasn't like it was like bang and a bang. I mean, they were like, it was a shootout.
It was.
Like,
it was.
You can't mistake if it was just 1 or 2 shots, but that was like, they were just shooting all over the place.
Well, then I'm like, get the fuck out of here now. Bye. I would be happy to.
And when Lori like ran across that bridge and left the other 2 women there, I was like, same girl, same.
I'll be getting out. Bye.
All right. Well, we are out of here. Like I said, Holly or Kelbin will have a podcast on Sunday.
Probably me, I guess.
And then we will be back on Wednesday with the new Miguel and Holly Uncensored. Kelbin, how can people see the rest of your Coachella recap?
At Kelbin Live on Instagram. I got one more post of day 3 mixed with day 0. Period.
Holly?
Radio Holly on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok.
And if you want to follow my adventures in Miami this weekend, you can always find me at Miguel Fuller on Instagram, TikTok, and Peloton.